Southwest Florida, you're looking live. Big shout out to my son, Brandon Lee Pitts, who's on the camera, doing a great job in the African Network of Southwest Florida's gala. This is the 2018 version. You've seen me at all of them. And since the beginning of this African Network of Southwest Florida's galas that started about 11 years ago. I'm a strong supporter of the African Network. We're at the reception period. People will be filing in shortly, and tonight will be something of great honor for our area here in Southwest Florida. Speaking of honor, one of the distinguished people who will be making a presentation here will be this good doctor here, a presidential candidate in Kenya in 2017. Let's get your full name.
My name is Dr. Jeff Kaluyu, Honorable Dr. Jeff Kaluyu, as we use the titles up there, but you can call me Dr. Jeff. That's good enough.
Dr. Jeff, first of all, you come here by way of Washington, D.C.?
Washington, D.C., that's where I reside.
What are you doing in Washington, D.C. now?
I am a university dean and a professor, but my background spans down from other things, like I'm a Wall Street trained executive. Worked in Wall Street for more than 6 years. I've been a professor. I'm an author. I have done radio and TV host. So I have gained my experience over the time from various, from various points of view. And finally, last year I ran for the President of the Republic of Kenya, and definitely I gained much more experience. So I look forward to sharing that with the African Network.
We're looking forward to having you down here. Man, we're bringing in the heavy hitters, Southwest Florida. Bringing in the heavy hitters. You mentioned that you were a professor. I'm assuming you worked at various colleges.
Yes.
But what college are you a professor at now?
One of them has been Stratford University. I've also worked in Strayer University as a university dean, not only a professor, but a university dean managing a whole lot of professors and students, which gives you a very thorough knowledge of human behavior and how to learn and how to face the world, because you are training future leaders, real world leaders coming up.
Dr. Jeff, as an elder in the African tradition, myself, and given the name Mzee Kalawali, I take my liberties to welcome you here to Southwest Florida and to offer you the key to the city of Fort Myers. How about that?
That is very exciting. But first, I want to congratulate you being an elder, African elder. That is a very big title that you always challenged to live up to. Being Mzee Kaluwali, that's the correct pronunciation, Mzee Kaluwali, meaning that you have a responsibility. You have been given responsibility to live up to it, to train, to mentor, and to teach other African with the responsibility that you have. So you have a big thing. Personally, I am very elated to find we can be able to get someone from American orientation, African American, to be part of the African journey, a moving part in changing the lives of both African Americans in America, and also your responsibility to change African lives in Africa as well.
I appreciate that, and the fact that it's coming from you and painting that picture of my responsibilities. Since the 3 years that I've been made an elder, I've noticed a tremendous amount of weight that's on my shoulder and what I must represent, and I take pride in holding the honor in high esteem. You need to know as well that I've traveled throughout Africa. Even before becoming an African elder, my college roommates were from Nigeria, from the Yoruba tribe.
Yes.
And so I started to learn about Africa at an early age, in around 18. Yes. And I just took it forward from eating fufu to traveling to Soweto, to Nigeria, to Cape Town, to the Ivory Coast, and Tanzania, and so on and so forth.
Wow, that is amazing. You see exactly the reason why you are given that title, because you are also familiar. You will not be given a title in a place that you are not familiar with. Now you are familiar with the whole Africa. That's why that responsibility was placed into you. And being born here, this is automatic. So we are looking for you. Welcome to Africa. We're excited.
Thank you. You know, and I had no idea of all those things that was happening in my life, say 20, 30 years ago, would be relevant now in terms of when I became associated with the African network here. It was just an easy transition for me. And a part of that is I try to get more people, Americans, African Americans, whites, and so on and so forth, Hispanic, to understand the beauty and the majesty of gaining African friendship. And I did in an earlier interview, I was telling people that when you are friends with the Africans, it's not like a friendship here in America.
Yes.
It's like a real friendship. It's like deep.
Yes.
And you have to have the pledge of having African friends to understand what a real friendship is.
Yes, exactly. That's how that's exactly how we really, as Americans say, we roll. That when we create a relationship with you, we give you our all, everything that we got. And when we place your responsibility on you, we also expect the same. I'm glad you got that Nigerian name, so now you need to step onto the other stage where you start learning the language in Nigerian. Even though I'm from Kenya, I stepped into the African stage where I had to know how to greet people in various languages. So one of them I teach you on your screen right now is when you go to Nigeria, you say Bawoni. That means how are you? Or Sanu in a different, because they have Igbo and they have different tribes. And then if you want to get it to another stage in the future, you say Kedu, Keemere. That is your next stage. Keep teaching you everything.
Doctor is getting me ready, Dr. Jeff. Hey, this is the only place you're going to get this is on Lee Pitts Live on Fox 4. This is history making in its own right. Now, one of the things before I let you go, I want to make sure we understand what is your role here tonight. What are you going to be doing?
So tonight I am going to be speaking. This is the first time I'm attending this network, and I definitely want to thank the African network in collaboration with the American teams. Actually, here I found everyone, because I've been here the whole day meeting different kinds of people. But I want to be able to express that first, it is one human family. It was never in the beginning just about Africa or America. It's about one human family. Even though we have little differences in skin color, hair texture, and also gender, compared to what we have in common, we have much more. That is something I want to be able to give my folks over here, and also express that me running for President of the Republic of Kenya back in Africa, when one country hurts, Africa hurts. When Africa hurts, the world hurts. So I'm stepping into the stage where, from where I was dealing with tribal connotations and the stage of smallness, stepping into African stage and stepping into the world and the universe, meeting my one human family.
The fact that you ran for the president of Kenya, you did that from here in the States? You went back, you still have dual citizenship? Kind of explain that.
Exactly the point. In fact, that's why it is very important, and that's particularly with Dr. Peter Ndiangui, the president of the African Network, who wanted to see whether they will, I don't know exactly, but he thinks I should be awarded. Running for president back in Kenya, being a diaspora, being here for a little over 20 years, it is very challenging, because those who are running for president in Kenya, they have their businesses there. Their lives are going on. As a Kenyan in America with dual citizenship, I have to leave everything and go there. My stuff stops here. That means you got to want it. You have to see something that has to change Africa. And with the corruption that goes on in Africa, with the hopelessness and despair, I have gained what I needed to gain. I'm a bachelor's, I'm a master's, I'm a PhD. So I needed to reach out to our people and go give them the experiences. I keep on talking of Wall Street, I keep on talking of university dean, professor. What good is it if my own people, where I was born, cannot gain from it? So I threw myself into the race. Out of 19 people, I finished fourth, smelling victory. I decided to declare, and today is the only place I'm going to declare that I will be going back to the race in 3.5 years, because I smell victory. And I can tell you, I want it so bad. I know how to win. I don't want to sound like Trump all the time, but I know how to win. I have the experience now. And this is not just about winning. I want to fight for freedom of African people, so that finally Africa can be free.
Everybody who's watching this in Africa, in Kenya, on social media, because this is going to be beamed all the way over there. I know you're watching it now. this is the man for the job. And he can connect Kenya to all of the resources and countries and continents all around the world because of his vast experience that he brings to bear. I can tell that right now. The Dr. Peter Denui.
Yes.
We see him moving around here locally.
Yes.
But my understanding is that back in Kenya,
Yes.
he has made a tremendous contribution himself, and he's well respected
Yes.
in Kenya. Can you tell us about our local hero?
Yes, Dr. Peter Diang'oi, who is also, I can say, is my friend. Service, a call to service is historic in nature. You don't decide to go and help. You have, because it means that you have to put your resources and you have to put a lot of work into it, because you're dealing with Africans in Africa, in Kenya, and therefore you have to recognize, just because you're privileged in America, Americans are very privileged, you can be able to transfer those resources, may it be intellectual resources of there, also physical resources like money. You have to travel there, it costs money, like 2,000 sometimes, or 1,500 in airfare. You have to go and meet, put together communities, contribute in schools, try to tell them a better way of living. There's a lot of corruption in Africa. So he's contributing in meeting communities, also meeting specific areas like in schools, also changing their way of thinking, and also giving them like gifts. He sends like shoes for the kids, because a shoe is a very big thing in Africa. People live for a whole life without having gotten a true shoe.
You hear this, Brandon?
He is actually contributing, and the most important thing about Dr. Diang'oi is that he's not just contributing there. What you see here tonight is not just Kenyans. In fact, it's just a small percentage of Kenyans, and a small percentage of everyone else. Is a diversified community. Is accepted here. I've asked him many times, when you are ready to run for mayor, why not? He keeps on saying, no, no, no. I told him that when history calls, you have to answer the call to history. And I think he's ready for duty, and we are supportive. We are behind him, both in the United States, both in Kenya, and he will support me in my bid for presidential candidate.
Man, you're motivating me right here. And our final phase of this, I want you to look into that camera. And I know people who are going to hear this in Kenya. I'm not going to understand what you're saying,
Yes.
but that's fine. But I want you to give a message to them. Take about a minute and say something to the people in Kenya.
So, my fellow Kenyans, you know me. I stepped into
Say it in your language now.
Yes, Wakenya wenzangu popote mlipo katika Jamhuri ya Kenya na ulimwenguni popote mnapotazama ama mnaposikiza. Ile nataka kusema ni kwamba mnajua vyenye nataka finally tukue na a nation ama taifa ambayo inaweza kuendelea mbele, watoto wetu wafaidike, tukue tuna fight corruption na ukweli. Naambia President Kenyatta aendelee vyenye anaendelea. Raila, asante kwa kukuja ndani kwa kufanya ile handshake. Na mimi nasema kwamba mimi nataka muendelee na wale viongozi wengine, they come and join the hands. Mimi nataka kusema siasa bado niko kama kiongozi kama wengine. Mnaweza kukumbuka baada ya kura ya October 26th, niliibuka kama fourth. Kenyatta aliibuka kama mshindi, alikuwa na MCAs, members of parliament around the Kenya. NASA, we respect them, lakini they did not participate. The only other candidate, akona watu kwa parliament, akona watu MCAs and counties, it is only me. So by default declared as a official opposition. I am not saying it. You can't fight the numbers. So I will be working with the government. We want to be able to show that there can be a different kind of opposition. Kwa hivyo nataka muzingatie, tuendelee mbele, ndio tujenge taifa letu la Kenya. Nitakuwa na waona time to time. So in 3 weeks, ninakuja Kenya, tutaungana, tuendelee kujenga inji pamoja. Asante sana.
I agree with him 100%.
What am I saying?
One of the things that I want to make clear to the viewing audience is that from my experience, you may correct me on this, from my experience, all the various languages throughout the continent of Africa and the various tribes,
yes.
Am I not mistaken that all of them speak the one common language of English?
Some of them, but like in Congo, there is Swahili and French, depending on how they were colonized.
Okay.
Kenya is English speaking. Like in Congo, they are French speaking. In Rwanda, Burundi, they are French speaking. So depending on how they were colonized, you also have Spanish community. Like in Angola, they speak a lot of Spanish because they were colonized. So really the base of it comes from how you are colonized. When they colonized you, they brought their own mercenaries, their own people. They spoke their own language to report back to their own masters back in their own countries. That's how it pans out. There is a call by Malema from South Africa. He's saying that we should have one African language. At least every country should strive to learn, which is Swahili. So we are looking forward, and it has been introduced in South African universities, and I support the idea. This is a different kind of world today, and the new kind of leaders require deep knowledge, deep understanding of how things need to move forward. I'm in that generation. We will make it happen when we finally say freedom has arrived to Africa, and you better be there, because this generation has to be there when we finally burst in a song and dance when we say freedom has finally arrived in Africa.
Man, you reminded me of Mandela. And my son right here,
my hero.
my son Brandon Pitts has become a big fan of Africa and all of the things that come along with that. He learned in a superficial way from watching the movie Black Panther, but that was the beginning of the education process.
Wakanda too.
Right. And for him to actually see a real African now, he's seen him on the screen, and to hear your accent, he's enjoying that. And I was 18 years old before I met a real African. My son is meeting him at 9 years old, and so I'm so thrilled, and I want you to get a chance to shake his hand when you're done, okay?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, young man. I believe in the young man. It's not just saying that the young men are they're tomorrow's leaders. We want to make that tomorrow come. We have always promised them there's future, but we hold that future without making it happen.
Come here, Brandon. Come here, Brandon.
So tonight, I want to tell you, I want to shake your hand.
Come here.
And
so you'll be on TV. Come here, get right in here.
Yes,
kneel
yes,
down,
yes,
kneel
yes,
down,
come.
Brandon. Kneel
Yeah,
down. Look
yes.
that way, Brandon, so people can see your face. I want y'all to see my son.
Yes. So, Brandon, I want to make sure that you understand there are people who are thinking about your future, and it is not just that we just sing it. We don't want to just say it just as a nice saying or some clauses that we say you are the children of the tomorrow and we make you feel good. No, we want to make it happen. Previously, that tomorrow has been held back by politicians in selfish gains. But there are people who will make sure that tomorrow arrived. And I want to tell you, you want to think big. I don't want you to dream small dreams. Pygmy dreams. I want you to think big. The maximum you can do is not attain them. But if you choose big dreams, you can even attain those dreams. So you will remember when you grow up that you make me proud. You go for the stars. I don't see any barriers.
Say thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Very nice.
Ask him one question, the beginning of your hosting Lee Pitts Live and take over for Daddy in the future. Ask him one question that you might have about Africa.
I have no questions.
Oh, come on, little Lee Pitts. All right, go back to the camera.
We have about 51 countries in Africa, and there's many more, up to almost 54, depending on where you come from. So
hey, you got to replace me one day. You got to work on that.
You have big shoes to fill, but think big, dream big. Those are the kind of dreams I was telling you, to fill your father's shoes. They're big.
We're here at the African Network Gala, the 2018 version. We're going to be back with more interviews, more people as we capture the flavor of the motherland. We'll be right back.